Good evening, everybody. It's a little late again tonight. Busy big day today. I decided to start out my morning trying to get exercise in instead of trying to wait until the evening when I was tired. And it seems to work pretty well. I did an hour on the bike and got to kind of zone out watching something on TV, since that's what I do to keep myself from realizing that I'm spinning for an hour on a bike seat inside instead of being outside. Today was really beautiful here. It was about 45 degrees. Things are melting. Things are getting sloppy. It's not quite time for us to be out biking outside yet, so I'm still trying to get some exercise in the house. So my bike's still set up out in my shop. That's where I am right now. You can see kind of the back of it behind me. I did a talk at the beginning of the week on grounding or earthing, and maybe a lot of you don't know what it is or maybe don't believe in it, but I didn't really know what it was. I learned a lot about what it means to really keep your bare feet planted on the ground and what that does for your head. I've spent years trying to research, study ways to try to get myself to calm down. I know that I'm an anxious person, and found that there were a lot of things that did calm me down, like good music, doing some of my fun hobbies like doing jewelry or working with fabric. I love the colors and the feel of fabric, and so sewing always helped me. But as I got older and was in this pretty stressful job, I found myself much more anxious than normal. And what I mean by anxious is that, heart racing all the time, feeling like you can't catch your breath. And that was sort of how I was living. Physically, that meant I also was doing a lot of trying to drug myself to keep from being anxious. So I would drink a lot and eat, comfort food. Wouldn't sleep well. I did, prior to taking a big break from corporate world, I did have issues with blood pressure, high cholesterol. And so all of this sort of, here's to my health challenge, which today, by the way, is day 24. A lot of that has to do with trying to get all of this in check. I don't want to be heading into my 60s with a lot of these sort of health issues plaguing me. So, quitting almost within a month, my blood pressure was back to normal. Still working on my cholesterol, but at least my blood pressure was a lot better. So I do know that stress affects people a lot of different ways, but it certainly affects my heart. So that's the good news. But also, we live in the country now. We live in a beautiful, calming place, so I don't have to deal with the city stress every day, the noise and the honking and the, kind of angry feelings of people. I notice that when I go back into Seattle now, there's just a lot of people driving too fast, cutting people off, honking horns. It just sort of feels stressed and like everybody's in a hurry and everybody is angry because they're not getting where they want to get to fast enough. So I've noticed a huge difference when I sort of immerse myself back in the city. But I also, even though I am in this calming, quiet countryside where we don't hear a thing at night except, maybe crickets. Sometimes we hear the wolves or the coyote close by. But in general, it's pretty calm. And yet I still find myself getting a little anxious about things. And so the reason I did a talk on grounding on Monday was as I'm coaching some women to look at making decisions about their life and kind of reinventing themselves to look at either new jobs or different careers or retiring, early retirement with maybe a hobby or a job that pays, a little on the side. So it's been pretty exciting to see them and help them kind of progress, because some of the decisions that they're making are very scary. And, that comes out in all kinds of ways as well, including same thing, anxious, heart racing, needing to take deep breaths, not sleeping at night because of the worries. And so all of that comes out anytime you try to make a big change in your life. So I did study up, and I wondered how come this summer I felt so grounded, and the word really was grounded, here in our cabin, in the dry heat that I grew up in. It was often 80 to 90 degrees, very dry, sunny days, and I just immediately am happier. But I also realized it was partly because I was running barefoot a lot, like when I was a kid, and I would go every day and I'd walk to the pool early in the morning, and because nobody would be there, and it would be 10 or 10:30, and it would be plenty hot enough to kind of chill at the pool all by myself on the grass, and so I was spending a lot of time very close to the earth, laying down on the grass. I would fall asleep, have my feet in the water, walk around in the dirt. And so I found it very interesting when I did finally read about grounding or earthing, that's exactly what it is, just absorbing energy from the earth. And then I wondered, okay, well, that feels great for the summer. It's warm, feels good, but what do you do in the wintertime to kind of have that same effect? And music has helped me, being outside, even though I don't physically have my feet touching the soil or the snow, being out skiing in the sun, in the snow, seems to have fairly close to the same effect. I start to be inspired. I can think about things that I want to write about. So just being outdoors has helped a lot. And I'm sure many of you that are listening to me are thinking, yeah, no kidding, that's exactly what you need to do, be out in nature. But it took me a while, being a city girl for so many years, to find my way back home and to find my roots again. And I have to say it feels pretty good to be back and to be grounded here in this small town. So I spent some of my time today with my mom, which also helps. I feel so much gratitude that I was fortunate enough to be able to move back closer to her and see her more often. There would be years that would go by when I wouldn't see her. And so I feel pretty fortunate to be able to just jump in the car and head over and see her anytime I want. And we have fun. So good day for grounding, good day for gratitude and for health. Feeling grounded, doing something about my blood pressure, getting some exercise today, were all great things on my Here's to My Health challenge for this day. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great evening. I'm going to go soak in some Epsom salts and drink my chamomile tea and head to bed.